It's fine. When I downloaded that packet, when I downloaded the packet, so what I was trying to say, when I downloaded the packet, the links are missing. I don't know if that's why, but
Good evening. I'd like to call this evening's meeting of the Tacoma Schools Board of Directors to order. Will you please rise for the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tacoma Public Schools acknowledges that we are on the traditional, ancestral, and historical lands of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Puyallup Tribe. This acknowledgement serves as a first step in honoring our nearest tribal neighbors and partners who have inhabited this region since time immemorial, and to whom we give thanks for allowing passage to their lands. We shall intentionally create inclusive and respectful partnerships that honor indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and socio-political realities. General Counsel Benroe, will please call the roll.
President Strozier,
Here.
Director Bombright,
Here.
Director Keating,
here,
Director Leon. Here. We have a call.
Vice President McGilroy is in room, just for the note, for the record. Next agenda item, the adoption of the agenda.
I move item 1E.
second.
Any questions or comments about the agenda as it stands?
I just have one comment. The links to the RCWs for the state holidays and civic observances aren't linked in the agenda.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes. Next agenda item, recognition of staff, students, and community, state holidays and civic observances.
In the month of June, we have two calendared observances. One is a state holiday, one is a civic observance. So starting with agenda item A1, LGBTQIA+ Pride Month. So under Washington law, June is Pride Month, which is designated as a time for Washingtonians to celebrate contributions of LGBTQ+ individuals in fields such as the arts, science, commerce, and education. During Pride Month, the legislature encourages schools, public agencies, and private industry to hold events recognizing the history, achievements, and lived experience of LGBTQ+ people in our state. So that's Happy Pride Month, everybody. And then the second observance is Juneteenth. So under Washington law, Juneteenth is a state legal holiday. Juneteenth commemorates the final enforcement of emancipation in the United States, which occurred on June 19, 1865, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Because Juneteenth is a state holiday, it means that next Thursday, so that's a week from today, there'll be no school for district students, and all district buildings will be closed for staff and visitors. And those are our observances for June.
Thank you. Item number B, recognition of Addison Kelly from Silas High School as the 2025 WIAA Track and Field 3A Girls Triple Jump Champion.
Woohoo.
Good evening, President Strozier, members of the board, Superintendent Garcia, members of cabinet, and our community. My name is Bernadette Ray, and I'm the principal of Silas High School, and I am very pleased this evening to recognize Addison Kelly, Addie, who is a senior at Silas High School. Today was her very last day of needing to come to campus at all. She's a multi-event track and field athlete who competed in 3 events at the 2025 State Track and Field Championships. In this year's championships, Addie was crowned a state champion in the triple jump, defending her 2023 and 2024 state championships. A three-time state champion, she also finished 5th in the state in long jump, and as a member of the 4x100 meter relay team, she finished 2nd in state. In her high school track and field career, Addie placed 8th or better 7 times in the state track meets. 4 championships, a 2nd place finish, a 3rd place finish, and a 5th place finish. She is also a 3-time district champion in the triple jump. Mom said there was also a 4th place finish in there somewhere, and I apologize that I don't have that here. But let's go through it. 2025, Washington State champion, 3A girls triple jump. 2025, 5th place finisher, 3A girls long jump. 2025, 2nd place finisher, 3A girls 4x1 relay team. Also 2025, district champion in the triple jump, 2nd place finisher in the long jump, district champion in the 4x100 relay team. 2024, similar accolades. State champion in the girls triple jump, state champion in the long jump, and a 3rd place finisher in the 4x100 relay team. Also for districts in 2024, district champion in the triple jump, district champion in the long jump, and 2nd place finisher in the 4x1. Also in 2023, Washington State champion in the triple jump, district champion in the triple jump, and 8th place finisher in the 4x100 relay. Addie's outstanding contributions helped the Silas Rams finish 6th in the state meet this year. The 2nd year in a row, the Rams have placed at state. We were 3rd place last year in 2024. Not to mention, Addie is an exceptional student with a 3.98 GPA. She will attend the University of Washington as a member of the Husky track and field team. Go Dogs. And she plans to study health sciences. Addie Kelly. Come on up, Addie. Would you like me to bring it to you? She's been up here a few times. She doesn't necessarily want to come up.
Good job.
She was very firm that she did not want to say anything, so she thanks you.
Mr. President, before the Silas Rams sneak out, and I know Addie has a lot to go celebrate and get ready for her graduations out there, I'd also want to congratulate Mr. Johnny Lee, who's selected to serve as a part of the WIA Executive Board this week, which is quite an honor and a testament to his commitment to high school athletics across the state. He was selected by his colleagues, and so we're so proud of Mr. Lee for his dedication to not only youth in Tacoma, and youth in the Rams, but youth all across the state. So thank you, Mr. Lee, for your service. I'm sorry? I'm shyer than that. Yeah. I don't know about that, Johnny, but yeah, here we go.
Nice try.
Yes.
Yeah, really nice.
We have a little bit of uniqueness in agenda items C through G. We have a conflicting event tonight. We have the Tacoma Athletic Commission is also celebrating a number of athletes. And so we asked our athletes to go ahead and choose, and they were opportunity to go to that event. And so they do send their apologies. And so you can see by tonight's agenda, we had a number of spring athletes win individual and team championships. And so I do hope folks take a moment to look at items C through G on the agenda and see that we had some T-Birds and once again our Abes just dominating in the track and field events. And so we want to congratulate several different student athletes across the city.
Thank you. And with that, I'll just pass it back to you for the superintendent's report.
And with that, I'd like to turn it over to our Deputy Superintendent to give you a little bit of a preview of what's happening already this week and next week.
Tis the season of graduation, and to me, it is the most wonderful time of the year. Before I get into this, though, I want to share from a personal perspective and a personal testimony. Having gone to the following schools as a student in Tacoma Public Schools: Lister, Bryant, Stanley, Jenny Reed, Stewart, and Foss. Having taught at Manitou Park, Franklin, in first grade in room 109 at Blix Elementary School, and as an assistant principal at Sheridan, and a small amount of time at Raymond Hall, I have worked with a variety of staff and a variety of educators, custodians, ESPs, also known as paras, bus drivers. I've ridden the bus to school in Tacoma Public Schools. Yes, it's been a while, but nonetheless. Administrators, food services, the people who give kids their nourishment on the daily, and the list goes on. We don't get to this point without touchstones all along the way from a variety of staff who help get our kids to the finish line. And this week has started it off, and it has started it off right. And actually before this week, on May 20th, we had our Indian Education Celebration, a time of honor for our Native students where they get to receive their blanket and a hand-painted drum, and honored for their experience as a Tacoma Public Schools student and as a Native student here in Tacoma Public Schools. And you can see some of the regalia that could show up in a graduation ceremony next week. Willie Stewart Academy was June 10th, and there were tears, there was laughter, there was joy. And that just kicks off the celebrations. CBT, our community-based transition, was yesterday, and students who are student interns to learn how to be a citizen and work in the community. They had internships from coffee. You can see on the right our young lady who loves coffee, the big smile. I don't think I've ever seen her without a smile. McLinden's, and the list goes on. Students who are now prepared to go and participate in our community and serve us well. And here is the schedule, starting on Monday. Soda, Idea, Sammy, and the list goes on. Each day, a minimum of 3 graduations. What that represents is more than 2,600 high school senior students who are graduating. And that is a celebration. Oh, I gotta back this up for just a moment. You know what? We recognize that not every family member can make it to the graduation. So if you're in the audience or you're at home, make sure you get this QR code. It will be live streamed, and you can watch and celebrate from a distance the person who you are advocating for as they walk across that stage. And something that I am very proud of in this district is we actually have photos that are available for free. Catch this QR code, and after they are taken from our excellent communications team and photographers, they will be available for download after the joyous occasion. And that finalizes the season of graduations. And when I say finalizes, we all know there's a lot more that goes into it than just this presentation. So thank you to our staff, thank you to our families, thank you to our students, because it truly takes every individual who's involved in a child's life to get them to this point.
Folks can go onto our webpage, the district's webpage. If they didn't get a chance to get those QR codes, they can already see the Willie Stewart, some of the other pictures if they need that information. Folks can get tickets to the ceremonies at the door, or they can get them at their schools if they would like to go to the ceremonies live as well. And then I just want to reiterate, if there are questions about what you can wear at a graduation ceremony if you're a student, please check in with your school administrator. If you are one of our Native students, of course, you are welcome to wear your Native regalia, and we will have staff there to support you if there are questions in real time as well. So next, I would like to invite Mr. Kari Kapman, Director of Strategic Financial Operations, up to give us a financial update of where we are.
Good evening. Okay, we have some of these slides you've seen before. We want to make sure we review them so the public can be caught up to date on this as well. We have 6 funds that we use in our school district, and each one of these can be considered a separate checkbook. If you think about them that way, that the funds aren't intermingled, that's one of the restrictions that we have as a government entity. Those, right now, we have a total of about $706 million that we manage through that, of which $578 million goes through our general fund. And the general fund is the operating fund, or the operating checkbook of the school district. The restrictions are that the other funds cannot put money into the general fund, but the general fund can be used to put money into those other checkbooks or those other funds. Of the amount in the general fund, the $578 million, $420 million of that comes through the state, is funded through the state for us. And that is 73% of the money that we are able to use. Again, we have other sources that are coming into that, but that's the main one. Of the expenses that we have, about 86% of the expenses are related to salaries and benefits. The rest of it you can see are our contract, supplies, and travel. So the major portion of what we have is through salaries and benefits. What that does for us, though, is if you look at how we fund those salaries and benefits, 89% of the staffing that we have is driven by the state. But of that, only 65% is actually funded by the state. So there's a discrepancy between what we have as far as all of the people working here, as well as what's being funded from the state. Tying that back together, what I just previously showed was the budgets for this year. And you'll see on the screen, on the left-hand column, that is the budget that we had for this year. In the middle column is what we actually are projecting to end the year with our revenues and expenditures. You can see that the revenues are forecasted to be $564 million, which is almost $14 million less than what we had budgeted for the year. The expenditures are $579 million, about $6 million more than what we had budgeted for the year. So adding those two together, you can see where there's a gap between the budget and what we are forecasting for this year. At the end of the year, we have our fund reserve balance that you as a board have asked us to maintain at 5%. That's been going down over the last couple of years, and at the end of this year, we're expecting to be at 0% being able to fund that. So what contributes to that? There's a couple of things. One of them is that as we look at funding from the state, back at the McCleary decision, we were getting 52% of the state's funding, or state's budget, was for public education. And you can see by the chart that that amount has gotten lower before and after. So over the prior 6-year period here, there's about $160 million that has not come to our school district. That's about $30 million a year. And you can imagine from the previous slide, if we had had that additional $30 million, we'd be in a much different financial situation than we are currently. We're not the only ones that are in this situation. If you read the news, there's quite a few districts in our state who are either in binding conditions or close to binding conditions or having other financial difficulties. So it's a pretty common problem out there for us. So I guess to kind of summarize where we are, there's some contributors. One of them that you've already heard about tonight and in previous times is on the lack of adequate funding from the state, right? One of the major issues for us. And something that we're all participating in is inflation and other costs that are escalating around us, and that's true for our school district as well. There's a competitive market out there for good quality teachers and others within our district, and we pay the market value for those. We appreciate everyone who works here. Another thing is that our enrollment has been steady. If we had increasing enrollment, we could get increasing revenues. We're not like a for-profit business that we can go out and sell another widget to get more revenues. Mainly it's driven by our student population, which has stayed level. So those revenues are not changing. And then, though it hasn't impacted this year, for next year, we're not sure what the impacts will be for federal resources, what that disruption might look for us as a district.
We need to anticipate. We've heard from OSPI and webinars. We have seen indications whether there have been cuts to our federal grants, that all indications that federal dollars will be impacted locally. It has been made very clear that Washington State federal dollars will be impacted in that space. And so shifts to resources are coming to Washington State.
So for example, weren't we already notified by the federal government that our Department of Education mental health grant was a 3-year grant? We've just finished year 1 and they've cut year 2 and 3?
The years, we're in year 3. We lost $2.6 million of that federal grant, yes. So we've been impacted on our grant side, but not in our title programs yet. But they have not finalized their budget. And if you look at the president's proposed budget, we would go through significant budget reductions. But the federal government has not balanced their budget yet. So we anticipate, if not this coming year, the following year, there will be significant federal impacts to Washington State as well. That is what the state officials are telling us.
And I do know that Pierce County is looking at $167 million of a shortfall in federal funds. So that's the funding threats are massive.
This slide shows over this year, the prior year, and in the future. So it's not something new. We knew we were in a financial situation, had to address it, and we've been addressing it for the last couple of years. So in 2023, we faced a $10 million shortfall. We eliminated 22 administrative positions and had about $6 million reductions in other expenditures. This year, we have about a $40 million budget shortfall, and we've eliminated 38 administrative positions, and we've identified another $20 million in reductions as well so far for this year. For next year, our budget that we're working on, we're estimating right now a $30 million shortfall. We have estimated about $20 million worth of program cuts and reductions to our discretionary expenses. So we're still not there to where we need to get for our shortfall, but that is what we're looking at for this next year. And next steps. I think, along the way, as you can see, in the last couple of years, we've actually been taking steps that we think were necessary to help us kind of curb that funding or lack of funding that we've had. The flow that we've had of our financial resources, trying to be good stewards through that. Right now, next steps are, we need to wait to see what the final state budget is and what those implications will be for us here in our local district, and assess and determine if there's other reductions that we need to do in our district. For you, of course, next steps officially will be our budget hearing and potential adoption of our budget for next year. So, anything else?
Any questions? Thank you, Kari.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, next I'd like to have Mr. Stephen Diedrich come up and give us a staffing update.
Good evening. Tonight I'm going to provide you a staffing update as of today as we prepare for the 25-26 school year. All right. There we go. I'd like to begin with an update specific to our certificated staff. We have a total of 107 displacements thus far. 65 have been placed. We will engage in next steps to place the remaining 42 beginning as early as tomorrow. In addition to the 107 displaced staff members, we have 14 certificated staff members impacted by a classroom move. This results in a transfer from one school to another for the certificated staff members that are impacted. We also have our 105 non-renewed provisional staff members that we will prioritize calling back once we first finalize the placements of our existing displaced staff where appropriate. And then we must finalize the 25-26 budget, as Kari mentioned. And then after that, we'll then examine open positions and begin calling back the members from the non-renewed provisional pool. For education support professionals, we have 132 displaced as of today. 57, though, have been placed into one of 57 of our new MTSS ESP positions. We are working now to place 10 more displaced ESPs from our peer inclusion group in alignment with an MOU with our ESP team, partners from the union leadership team. And we have a total of 5 schools with 2 positions at each school, which will result in 10 more displaced ESPs being placed. To the right, yes.
Would you, just for the audience and those listening, could you explain what MTSS stands for, please?
You know, I'll take a shot at it, but I might ask. Zeke to-
Multi-tiered
There you go.
support system.
There you go. On target. Thank you, Dr. Garcia.
You bet.
To the right is our 2025 timeline. These are key components from that timeline that we've been following, unique to the ESP group. And the previous slide had a timeline as well that noted key aspects of the timeline to displace, notify, issue contracts, et cetera. For our OP-PT group, we have displaced a total of 34 OP-PT staff. To date, 20 have a new assignment for the 25-26 school year. To the right again are key dates and items related to the OP-PT timeline for staffing. I'd like to close with, we have a total of 403 staff members that have been impacted this staffing season. Of this group, 200 will have a position for the 25-26 school year at this point. We have 203 remaining without a position. We'd like to reiterate our commitment to the remaining staff members without an assignment for the 25-26 school year, which is to continue to prioritize their hire or placement where appropriate over hiring external candidates from outside the district.
So one of your guiding principles was, I believe it was number 8, which is just to find spots within the organization in that space. So things move very quickly. So, and life continues to happen. And so when there's an opening, we're going and we're filling those opening with folks that have been working inside the district. We're not posting those positions, or if we are posting, we're posting them to internal candidates or folks inside that employee group in that space. So Stephen's, I would say, one of the hardest working people in the organizations right now, and him and his team are working to fill the displaced so then we can see where are the other spots so we can prioritize the bringing back of folks in that space. In addition, you know, life happens, people move, we've had retirements in that space, and then we continue in the other categories in that space as well. As we finalize the budget, there will be other opportunities as well. We're continuing to look at different grant opportunities. We just were put in and awarded, or not awarded, Senator Murray just indicated that she put us up for another grant. So we're waiting for that indication. So we're continuing to look at other revenue sources in that space, which will open up new opportunities. The fall will continue to open up new opportunities as enrollment comes in, like it does every year. So this is not a moment where, once the budget's adopted, that we're done. It's just another moment in time where we will continue to look at that. And we know that even with and that's why it says in the pending, with the top 105, there will still be openings after we place everyone. We just don't know exactly where they are because we have to place all the displaced folks first. And that is our commitment to do that first. When we say like folks are reassigned, it doesn't mean that they're reassigned into another, the bottom one, another necessarily we created another job. We looked like there was a position was opened up, and there was another opportunity for them to fill another position. That other position they currently had closed out. And so we're also closing out positions as well.
Thank you for your time. I can
Any
open it up for
questions?
questions as well.
Thank you for your hard work.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is student report to the board. As you can see, they are not up here, so we'll move past that. Staff report to the board is next. Unless you got something to close out. My bad, I just jumped right into it. You good?
I think we're good.
For sure. Staff report to the board, there is not one. The next agenda item is with members of the public wishing to address the board. School board members encourage public participation. Your civil input is appreciated. Board members will not respond to your comments during the meeting. Superintendent or designee will follow up with you after the meeting if action is needed. Instead of speaking at a meeting, you may also send an email to the board at board@tacoma.k12.wa.us. Please contact the board office in advance of the meeting for disability accommodations. Public comment guidelines. Under Board Policy 1430 for public comment, the board president may terminate an individual's comments when the allotted time is passed and may interrupt the speaker to require the same standard of civility that the board imposes upon itself. Examples of uncivil comments include comments that are libelous or slanderous under a legal standard, are an unwarranted invasion of privacy, are obscene or indecent pursuant to the Federal Communications Act or any rule or regulation of the Federal Communications Commission, violate school district policy or procedure related to harassment, intimidation, bullying, or discrimination, incite an unlawful act on school premises or violate a lawful school regulation, or create a material and substantial disruption to the orderly operation of the board meeting. The board as a whole has the final decision in determining the appropriateness of all such rulings and can maintain order by removing those who are disruptive. However, the board recognizes the distinction between uncivil discourse, which it will not tolerate, and comments about the board, district, and/or staff that are negative, yet still civil in nature. The board will exercise its authority to maintain order in a content-neutral manner. Option number 1, verbal comment. The general counsel will call your name when it's your turn to address the school board. Please speak into the microphone. Tonight, given the number of comments, I do believe we have over 30 cards. We will be limiting time to 1 minute and 30 seconds per speaker because there are a large number. Option number 2, written comment. The following members of the public have submitted written public comment. And there are 4 folks from our community that have submitted written comment. They are attached to the agenda. General Counsel, feel free to go ahead with the first card.
Yes, we actually have over 40 speakers today, so please try our best to stay within the time frames. We can have time for everybody. Also, if you can hear my voice and you're in the overflow room, we're going to call them 2 at a time. So if you hear your voice, please come into this room so you can be ready to go after the speaker before you. So our first speaker this evening will be Katie Franklin, followed by Etta Franklin.
Hi. Hello, Tacoma School Board and Superintendent. My name is Katie Franklin. I am a Montessori Education Assistant at Geiger. This past year, I supported 1st through 3rd graders with age ranges 6 through 9. Whenever someone asks what grades I work with, their response to this combination is, yeesh, how do you manage that? The answer is multifaceted, and I can't speak fully to everything that defines Montessori in this brief amount of time. But the biggest key to our success with this significantly developmentally varied age group is having 2 adults in the room. Montessori lessons happen strategically, and the assistant is essential in protecting the lesson. If you've never seen it, please come and visit. An amazing element of our Montessori is the quality of the people it entices. More than one of our ESPs is a certificated teacher. Many have advanced degrees. We're here because we love Montessori, and we believe in it. Most of us have had the word overqualified thrown our way. I, however, disagree. I think we are what our kids deserve. The district gets the most mileage or bang for their buck from classroom assistants. I came to Geiger because I am first and foremost a parent, and I scouted Geiger remotely when my son, who is now 10, was just 18 months old. With my background in child life, I knew I wanted Montessori. The reason Tacoma won and why we bought our house here was because it boasted 2 public Montessoris. This is a resource that I don't want to lose if it is in name only. Sorry.
Thank you.
Great.
Our next speaker is Etta Franklin, followed by Connor Griswold.
Open it and read it.
I am Etta. I am in 2nd grade at Geiger Montessori. Please do not cut our assistants. We need them. They help us so much one-on-one in math, reading, science, and more. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Connor Griswold, followed by Caitlin Birkenbuell.
Okay, everybody, let's get started. Over the last several weeks, these discussions, writing scripts, being quoted multiple times has been really powerful for my orientation towards socialism. Thanks for proving every step of the way that the bureaucracy is a parasite on the body of the working class. Frankly, I really don't want to be here this time. Yesterday, I paid $1,000 out of pocket for a tooth extraction. Your benefit specialist, earning tens of thousands of dollars more than me, sent me in circles on Delta Dental's portal, wasting hours of my time and time of multiple dental offices. I corrected her mistakes and got no follow-up. Shameful. I'm a bottom earner. Every cent I lose hurts me way more than you could understand. Anyways, in terms of transparency, parents don't know who their educators are going to be next year. We have educators who are going from having their jobs to not having their jobs to having their jobs again. If this is how we're going to handle transparency around ICE, there's going to be a lot more showing up than just at these board meetings. What's going on is scary, and you guys are not painting a very safe picture for us to protect our students. This is serious. Boots are on the ground. Marines will come to Tacoma. Let's get ready.
Our next speaker is Caitlin Birkenbuell, followed by Paul Berkey.
Hello. Thank you for having us, members of the board. My name is Caitlin Birkenbuell, and I am a resident of the West End. I live off South 17th Street. My son attends Geiger Elementary and is currently a year 1 pre-K student in the public Montessori program. We also bought our home 2 years ago, and we're thrilled to be a part of the program and find public Montessori. We're very concerned about the cuts and how this would significantly affect classrooms and students at Geiger. My son's own assistant teacher, Ms. Bach, was listed as one of those that will lose their job in the 2025-26 school year. I personally volunteer and I assist with the kindergartners with reading every Friday, and the dynamic duo of the head teacher and a full-time educational support person in the classroom is invaluable. This allows the teacher to concentrate on core subjects that we all know about, like mathematics and reading, while the ESP expertly assists students with workstations and provides individualized support. Their daily collaboration creates a harmonious learning environment that truly helps students of all learning styles succeed. Sometimes I ask if I can just stay and use my laptop to work for the rest of the day, but they don't allow me to do so. The consistency an ESP provides is invaluable. For example, when our ESP was temporarily reassigned in the fall, I saw the classroom suffer. Our children rely on the ESP for guidance, and the Montessori method, which emphasizes order, consistency, and particularly benefits a stable presence. Oh, I can't finish my thoughts? Okay. All I was going to end with is that please do reconsider reinstating funds, and we really appreciate all that our teachers and our assistants do, and thank you so much for this time.
Our next speaker is Paul Berkey, followed by Jen Barfield.
I'm Paul Berkey, and I'm here to advocate for a bell-to-bell cell phone ban in all of our schools, K through 12. What really prompted me to do this is that a comment made by my 13-year-old granddaughter who said she wishes that cell phones had not been invented so she wouldn't be addicted to hers. And what I've found is volunteering at a nonprofit where we work with young people, I've asked about cell phones, and I've gotten a similar sentiment. It's surprising how much self-knowledge our young people have, that they realize that they can't do without, they can't stay away from these things, but they wish they didn't exist. They wish they weren't in our world. So the point is, our children are basically hostages of some large corporations that have deliberately addicted our kids to their products. And they need our help. They need your help. And so I just really encourage you to craft and implement a bell-to-bell cell phone ban. And I think that honestly, everyone in their heart of hearts, including our kids, know it's the right thing to do. It's something that will really help them break this bond that has created so many mental health problems. Okay, thank you.
Our next speaker is Jen Barfield, followed by Christina Reyes.
The district has given us all so much to talk about in recent weeks with the cuts, and I get it. Education funding is a mess in this state and elsewhere. But these cuts threaten the well-being of students and families who rely on the support of people like our counselor, Adrian Petrie at Stafford, who works tirelessly for the community in our Lions Den Resource Center. We need this vital resource that provides food, clothing, diapers, and other assistance for our families to remain available on a consistent basis. She's been displaced, but our community needs her. I also want to mention our dedicated building para, Carrie, who just got her teaching certificate. She's lost her job not once, not twice, but 3 times since the cuts first went into effect, and she's now been offered a 0.5 FTE in a different building. We're just waiting for HR to say we're kidding again. I don't know why this was allowed to happen, but it's cruel. Staff do not deserve this kind of treatment. I know that you're scrambling to cover a deficit and figure out how things are going to look for next year, and I know that's hard work, but we also need the district to remember that people are not numbers, and that's how people are being made to feel. Our counselors live every year with the knowledge that their jobs are never safe. Our paras are underpaid and feel disrespected by a district they work so hard for, but they stay for the students. This district has got to do better. Finally, I just want to call on you to take on a public campaign fighting for education funding, stand up to politicians, and demand better for our students. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Christina Reyes, followed by Jacob Elstein.
Hi, I'm Christina Reyes. I am a parent of 3 wonderful students at Sheridan Elementary who has a really huge attendance in their school, and these cuts are going to be a big deal. I also have this petition that we have signed over 1,500 signatures to ask for clarity about the budget, what you guys have spent on, and over, I'm sorry, we guys spent on between $14 to $20 million since 2020. We're also asking for you guys to stop, you're cutting all these programs like the dual language program that is close to my family, and the para-educators that are currently helping my students every day, and reinstate all the people that you guys have displaced or said that they had a job and don't have a job anymore. Morale's low, and that's sad to see as a parent, to see the teachers and staff worried, sad, and here's a petition because it's heartbreaking to me, and I'm going to stand for my kids.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jacob Elstein, followed by Matthew Mankema.
Hi, my name is Jacob Elstein, and I'm the parent of a 6th grader at Mason Middle School. I'm speaking tonight in favor of Tacoma Public Schools instituting a district-wide bell-to-bell ban on cell phones during the school day. While cell phones obviously can distract students during class, they are really disruptive to the social experience of students. This year, my daughter went on a field trip to the Museum of Glass, and she insisted she bring her phone. When I asked why, she said that she would need to have it to play games on during the bus ride to and from the museum. I asked why she couldn't just talk to her friends during the ride, and she said everyone will be on their phones. This is a silly but real demonstration of just how much cell phones, even being used in between classes, are disruptive to the normal social patterns. The Tacoma Public Schools website speaks to the TPS Whole Child Initiative, and I don't have enough time to read it all, but if we really believe in that Tacoma Whole Child Initiative, and it's not just educational jargon, I'd ask you to really look into a bell-to-bell ban on cell phones during school. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Matthew Minkema, followed by someone who just signed Zeke.
Hi, my name is Matthew Minkema. I'm the father of 2 neurotypical boys attending Washington Elementary School, and I'm speaking today regarding the recent budget cuts and specifically the cut of the Peer Inclusion preschool program. For those of you here today not aware, the Peer Inclusion program is a carefully designed, evidence-based early intervention that goes beyond just simple modeling or basic care. It brings neurodivergent and neurotypical students together in a structured, research-driven classrooms led by certificated special education staff with a big focus on empathy and inclusion. First impressions in these early years are critical, and what children experience here shapes how they see themselves and their potential. We have a family friend that lives in Texas, and she has a daughter that is autistic and nonverbal. And when we told her about the recent cuts, she said something to us that as parents hit really hard. She said that for a lot of autistic and neurodivergent children, this age is really their only chance to truly be a kid. To be able to engage with their peers in an environment free of judgment, where they're not seen as children with disabilities, but just as children, where their peers have not been biased by the media or politics or bullies. We need future generations to have a learning program like this, one that emphasizes tolerance and acceptance early, so that those things are pillars of their character. But the impacts of this program go far beyond that. My children are 2 of the most thoughtful, empathetic, and accepting children I've ever met, and the reason why is because of this program. I truly hope that we can go back to the drawing board and find a way to save this program because it is a lot more powerful than anyone here apparently realizes. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Zeke, followed by Serenity Hess Marks.
I'm Zeke.
I don't think he wants to talk now.
That's fine.
Our next speaker is Serenity Hess Marks, followed by Liz Wally.
My name is Serenity, and I'm the parent of 2 children, Ezekiel and Zamira, who attend Geiger Montessori. I want to express my deep concern about how the current budget cuts are impacting not only my children, but the entire Montessori community at Geiger. Montessori education is fundamentally different from traditional schooling. It relies on a carefully prepared environment, hands-on learning materials, and most importantly, individualized instruction. In a Montessori classroom, students work at their own pace, and teachers provide one-on-one guidance that supports each children's unique development path. This model fosters independence, confidence, and deep engagement with learning. However, it also requires adequate staffing to be effective. With fewer teachers in the classroom due to these budget cuts, the individualized attention that is essential to Montessori is no longer possible. Teachers are being asked to take on the responsibilities of multiple staff members, which is an unsustainable burden on them, and it makes it nearly impossible to provide the focused support students need to succeed. This is not only affects the quality of instruction, but also puts the teachers at risk of burnout. My son has ADHD, and he has shown tremendous growth in the Montessori environment because of the personalized attention he received. Having a teacher who can sit with him, redirect him, and encourage him through his challenges made all the difference. With that consistent presence and support, I worry he will struggle to keep up, lose confidence, and feel left behind. I chose Montessori education specifically because it meets the needs of my children. It respects that every child is different and offers a learning path to nurtures their potential. These cuts feel like a rug is being pulled out from under the children. It's devastating to see. Thank you, guys.
Our next speaker is Liz Wally, followed by Kathy Unruh.
I'm Liz Wally, paraeducator for Tacoma Public Schools. I got wordy last time I talked to you on May 8th, so I sent my written in to you, and I appreciate that Director Strozier responded to me. However, I disagree with his response. His comment was, and I'm quoting, "Staffing decisions are not the function of the school board." You sign off on the budget, so you sign off on each of these devastating cuts. The people who elected you deserve better than the constant rubber stamping that we're getting from the board. Please reconsider.
Our next speaker is Kathy Unruh, followed by Michelle Austin.
My name is Kathy Unruh, and I worked as a Montessori assistant before I retired about 2 years ago. I came to love the Montessori method, especially the 2D teaching team. Now, Tacoma Montessori schools have lost about half of their Montessori assistants. I keep hearing that the district is committed to our 2 Montessori programs, but commitment is to the method, not just a sign on the school. I have heard a lot of people bashing the district leadership. I want to say that I recognize that they do have a hard job and they have difficult decisions to make. I don't always agree with their decisions, but I respect the process. Before I came to work for TPS, I was the executive director of a national youth agency for 25 years. I know the process, I know the budgets. Staff developed the budget, and our board of directors were responsible for knowing everything about it. Their signatures approved it. Our board was responsible for it, good or bad. Tacoma, we vote for our school board members. Let's hold them responsible.
Our next speaker is Michelle Austin, followed by Becky Penzi.
Hi there, I'm Michelle Austin. This fall I will have 2 children at Geiger Montessori and 1 at Hunt Middle School. I also serve as the PTA president at Geiger. My 2 older children have very different learning styles, yet both of them thrived at Geiger because of the individualized, student-centered approach that is the foundation of the Montessori method. Montessori education depends on having a full teaching team. This includes classroom assistants, or ESPs, who are essential to making the model work. Unfortunately, as of today, Geiger has lost 9 Montessori assistants and 1 TK classroom. Without these assistants, Geiger cannot truly function as a Montessori school. It would be Montessori in name only. We must find a way to restore these vital roles. TPS is so lucky to have a true Montessori school. Please, let's keep it. I also want to just say that I support the phone-free bell-to-bell policy. There's a reason why the people at the top of the tech movement, like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Mark Zuckerberg, all have strict restrictions on their children's access to technology. We have seen the dangers of technology firsthand, and we don't want that for our children and their developing brains. Let our teachers teach without competing with screens. We know the data, we know the distractions. We're asking you to take a firm stand in support of more focused learning and student well-being by removing cell phone use during the school day. Thank you again for your time and your commitment to the students of our district. I know the work you do is not easy, and I appreciate your time and attention. I hope our voices will inspire the change needed to better serve all children. And I also have a whole bunch more letters of parents that couldn't be here tonight.
Our next speaker is Becky Penzi, followed by Serena Van Horn.
Okay, so I'm not much of a public speaker. My name is Becky Renzi, and my kiddos attend Bryant Montessori. Most people online know me as Ducky Deer, face to a name. Anyways, the lack of trust the public has for the executive board members of the Tacoma Public School System has caused a stir in our community, not just for our children, but for our library program, librarians, coaches, paraeducators, low seniority teachers, and many more that have yet to be disclosed. How can you justify taxpayers' money making you millionaires while those in the line of fire are living paycheck to paycheck? Buying items for their classroom with their own money that they made from a second job How is this fair to the people who are directly teaching our future generation? When will you stop to ask how much is enough for your own pockets? I think it's reasonable to say that point is somewhere before the line you have crossed to be hurting teachers and students. The emotional harm to the students, it's not just the short-term ones either. Sure, they will miss the faces they've grown up next to, but what about the long term? Cuts to programs that some people may label as unnecessary, but to those kids, it could be a thing in their lives that brings them joy and opens up their future. No one needs a salary as high as yours at the expense of these kids' childhoods. In my daughter's words, every time I think of Miss Heather and Miss Spain leaving, it feels like I'm going to burst from crying. This isn't fair that these teachers have to leave, and they have been working so hard. I didn't get to finish. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Serena Van Horn, followed by Heather McLean.
Hi, I'm Serena Van Horn. I am a mother of a former Bryant student and a current Bryant student. And I would like to talk to you about the 5 core components of Montessori teaching. Number 1, trained Montessori teachers. 2 of our lower elementary teachers, Ms. Sarah Renfro and Ms. Serena Spain, have been informed their contracts will not be renewed. Both bring specialized Montessori training and a deep understanding of multi-age student-centered learning. Replacing them with traditionally trained educators risks compromising the integrity of the Montessori approach in these classrooms. Multi-age classrooms. In a Montessori setting, multi-age classrooms are intentional and essential. Montessori materials. While I recognize the need for fiscal restraint, I urge you to consider the long-term consequences of reducing the budget for Montessori-specific materials. Child-directed work. Currently, each lower elementary and children's house classroom includes both certificated teacher and an educational support professional. By losing RESPs, we are directly undermining a key Montessori principle, independent, student-driven learning supported by an engaged adult presence. Students from my child's classroom shared with me that their teacher, David, helps them check their work so they don't have to wait when Miss Engel is teaching a lesson. He keeps them safe if she needs to step out of the room. And they need to have a teacher and assistant so that they can learn best.
Our next speaker is Heather McLean, followed by Harbir Judge.
Hello, board. My name is Heather McLean. I thought a lot about what I wanted to say when I came up today, and some people said I probably shouldn't. But for my program, I can't just sit by and do nothing. Recently, I got a letter that said these cuts to our district is to get us to a healthier financial position. To my students, I am Miss Heather. To their families, I am their child's dedicated teacher. And to my colleagues, I am a Montessori co-teacher in the classroom. But you don't see that. To you, I am a number on a spreadsheet because you deal with numbers. The cuts should not be happening where they are. They should be happening at the top. As of today, I did the math. The TPS Central Administration got a raise between 2019 and 2024. This is how much. It is $2,307,000. A lot of the things that you have put out have showed 13% or 5%, and to you, that doesn't seem like a lot. But when we find out how much people actually make, those percentages add up. And with doing the simple math, I make $33,000 a year as a Montessori assistant. Doing all of that math and dividing it, you could have saved 69 support professionals in the district that you have displaced. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Harbir Judge, followed by Christina Coleman.
Good evening. My name's Harbir Judge. I attended Tacoma Public Schools from kindergarten through 12th grade. I worked as a pediatrician here in Tacoma for about 15 years. I serve on the Pierce County Birth to 25 Advisory. I'm here to advocate for a district-wide, consistent, enforced policy on cell phone use. I know this isn't an easy issue with an easy solution, but I do believe that such a policy, if done well, could build community, connection, support our teachers, and enhance the learning environment. In the time I have today, I just want all of us to think briefly about what experiences are lost when children turn to devices instead of each other. The aha moment came for me a few years ago when I watched a 3-week-old in clinic stare up at her parent, blinking, waiting, watching, observing, and all the while, the parent continued to look at their phone. We've all seen a version of this scenario play out again and again around town with individuals of all ages. What is lost is community. What is lost is social connection. I believe what is lost is most impactful on developing brains. When children and adolescents stop using phones in the school, I really do think it will open the door for community and connection. The letter I shared with this board shows you how this can have benefit over the entire lifespan. Lastly, I just want to take a moment to thank every educator in this room for everything you do. I sincerely believe that your work is central to community and forming humans for the rest of their lifespan. So thank you. I always say every child confronts a teacher, but not necessarily a physician, a dentist, or whatever else. So thank you. I kind of think getting cell phones out of classrooms will help you all too.
Our next speaker is Christina Coleman, followed by Angela Wally.
Hi there. I'm a school psychologist on the preschool child find team, and our team identifies developmental delays and recommends specialized programming to children ages 2 to 5. We place many children into inclusive preschool settings alongside their non-disabled peers. It's the kind of setting research shows is the best way for children to make substantial growth and can reduce the need for self-contained programs later. TPS is making a radical departure from how it serves our youngest learners and is doing what no other local school district is doing. It's eliminating inclusive preschool, reducing from 10 hours of preschool per week to 3 hours of a play group. Publicly, TPS has put forth messaging that says they've heard consistent feedback from participating families that peer inclusion was challenging for many to manage. Instead, we're going to offer a play group because it better aligns with developmental needs. I am baffled by these statements. Our office tracks when families decline preschool, and the primary reason provided is that families want full-day options. For the district to state otherwise is incongruent with our data. We do not hear families ask for a play group. We do not hear families ask for 2 days of programming instead of 4. TPS did not seek any input or feedback from parents before making this drastic change. Let's just call this what it is. The elimination of preschool, peer inclusion preschool is a budget reduction, and the lack of transparency about this is regrettable. We're cutting special education programs because of budget shortfalls under the guise of saying this is what our families want.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Angela Wally, followed by Kimberly Chalker Quintana.
Good evening again. Tonight I'm here as Oliver's mom. Oliver is a Children's House and LRC student at Geiger Montessori. He would have been here speaking to you, but large crowds are very dysregulating for Oliver and would cause him distress. When I told him about the assistant cuts at his school, he burst into tears. He said, "Mom, can I go tell them to stop at that board meeting thing?" He decided he wanted me to read a letter he wrote to all of you. Tonight I am being his voice. Dear school boss and school board, you need to listen to my mom. She's right. If you take away our assistant, I won't get lunch bunch. Then my brain will be too buzzy and confused, and then I have to take a nap instead of learn. She helps me make friends and lets us have extra recess. She helps me learn. Don't take her away. From Oliver. Additionally, I have students who wrote letters, and I promised I would hand deliver them. They have important things to say. Please take the time to read them. Finally, President Strozier, I'm going to follow up again tonight like I did last time. A few weeks ago, requesting to meet with you via phone or a Teams meeting or in person. I hope this time you'll give me the respect of at least replying, even if it's no.
Our next speaker is Kimberly Chalker Quintana, followed by Kathy Sabelos.
Good afternoon, Tacoma School Board. I'm just going to speak from my heart. I have a whole essay of what I was going to say, but I'm just going to speak from my heart. We moved from sunny Florida across the country to Tacoma, Washington. My wife took me kicking and screaming because I really wanted to move to California where the sun was. We moved here because of Geiger. We moved here because we wanted to be in a school district in a state that supported educators, that supported teachers, that supported children. And this is happening. Please, please don't become Florida. We will have to pack our bags and move again because our child's education matters and the community that he grows up in matters. Yes, it's great 9 months of the year. We hate that, but please keep our teachers. I have told so many families, come move from across the country. We have an amazing school, and the only reason we are still here in Tacoma is because of Geiger. It's because of Miss Spain. She was my son Emerson Chakras Quintana's teacher assistant, and she changed our lives, and she changed his life, and Geiger made him feel safe. Coming from a two-mom, multi-ethnic family, we researched Tacoma. We moved here to feel safe. Again, I have a whole essay. I'm just speaking from my heart. Have a great day. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kathy Sabalos, followed by Delani Mitchell.
If we could share our 3 minutes together, or 3 minutes combined. So, hi, my name is Kathy. I'm a former Tacoma Public student, and I have 4 kids who attend. I have 4 kids who attend Tacoma Public Schools. My oldest attends Lincoln, and her College Success Foundation teacher was cut, and my question is like, she's going to be a junior next year. Who's going to help her navigate college and careers? Like, yes, I can do that as her mom, but these people are well versed and experienced in it. My son attends Stewart Middle School. A lot of his ESPs were cut there. He has ADHD. He has a 504 plan. Who's going to take him for breaks? Who's going to take him for walks? Who's going to help him with his reading to help his iReady scores because he can't test correctly? I have 2 who attend Mary Lyon. One is in the Success Program. Her twin brother, Delani, can you get down here? They both have autism, and as you can see, that's very challenging to deal with. Delani also has autism, and she's in general education in LRC, but she was also in Miss Nikki's peer inclusion class over at Franklin.
Yeah, and I miss
who
her.
You do miss her.
Yeah,
who,
and I'm very lucky that I'm gonna have her.
You are very lucky to have Miss
Yeah,
Nikki.
and I'm sad about it.
Who at our last board meeting I realized wasn't going to have her job anymore. Miss Nikki was Delani's foundation for her starting. When Delani had to go to kindergarten at a completely new school, Miss Nikki made sure to be there to help her transition on her first day of kindergarten. Nobody else is going to do that. Nobody is going to help Delani. When Delani was hiding under tables, tossing chairs over because she was scared and she was worried and she was confused, Miss Nikki was there to help her. So finding out that she's going to lose her job is a very sad thing. And I just ask you to reconsider to reinstate the librarians. Delano loves library. He's in the Success Program. Who's going to be there to help him? Delani, can you please get down here? Who's going to be there to help him? Who's going to be there to redirect Delani if her ESPs are cut? Who's going to be there to give her a break? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Come on.
So that was both Kathy Sabalos and Delani Mitchell. So the next 2 speakers will be Ansel Stein, followed by Keith Stein.
Hi, my name is Ansel. I am a student at Geiger Montessori. I feel sad and mad because you are cutting a lot of Montessori assistants. Without Montessori assistants, we won't be able to learn as much. Assistants do a lot for us, like they help organize our classrooms. Our classroom supervises our recess and lunch and gives us a lot of their time and energy. That is why Montessori assistants are so important. It will cause us to not learn as much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to my son. I can't speak much about Montessori because I learned about it when moving to Tacoma from New York about 4 years ago. I did have about a 3-minute speech prepared, but I do want to talk about personal accounts. Roughly 2 weeks ago, I was volunteering with my wife for the Scholastic Book Fair, and my son was having a bit of a mental breakdown in the hallway. He does have ADHD, and watching him go through these episodes is painful as a parent. The thing that I noticed immediately walking past his classroom to go directly to him to give him my attention as a parent was watching the warmth and the empathy and the love that he was receiving from the support staff. Mr. Patrick is crucial and essential around the hallways, and every parent and student knows him. The cuts are devastating, and the thing that's even more devastating is watching how a classroom could essentially fall apart just because of one student needing to be pulled and pulling the attention of a teacher. What I was able to really see was a classroom still harmoniously undergoing teaching and learning without my son pulling the attention of the teacher or the assistant. I know that Miss Katie and Miss Wally provide a wonderful education for my son, but I think that support system is even more important than you may imagine. Thank you.
Our next two speakers are Serena Spain, followed by Max, no last name.
Hello, my name is Serena Spain. I'm that teacher that you've heard so many people talk about. I'm a homegrown teacher here. I went to school here and I taught here as a teacher assistant for 7 years before I got my master's degree in education with an emphasis in Montessori. And it was my dream that I was able to come back to Bryant where my fiance and my 4 younger siblings learned. And it is heartbreaking to be seen as a number as just a one-year teacher, and to also see the cuts of my teacher assistants that I used to be, and knowing, as all these families have said, the support that we give, that I used to give to these families and these students and these teachers every single day. And I know that you guys don't have easy answers and easy solutions, and I'm not here to bash you guys. We focus on admin and your salaries. We don't begrudge you guys making more. You guys are in higher positions. It's just the equity. I would have taken a cut, a freeze, if it meant saving Montessori, regardless if I was still there. Thank you for listening.
All right, after Max, we have Eleanor Churchill.
Hello, my name is Max. Assistants do a lot for everyone. They help me calm down when I have a rough day. If the assistants are not here in Geiger, then teachers will have a line of students at their desk. And some students will spend all day in a line at the teacher's desk and they won't learn. Thank you for your time.
Now we've got Eleanor Churchill and I think Virginia Churchill.
My name is Eleanor, and if you take away assistance, then we won't have as many people to watch us at recess. Thank you for your time.
Within the first month, of school, my first grade daughter was in her classroom when a student was angry and started throwing scissors. The ESP quickly stepped in and de-escalated the situation. When children decide to leave the classroom, another adult is able to stay with the child, keeping them safe. Safety is priority. Geiger is a diverse community. Geiger Montessori attracts families who have children that may not excel in traditional classrooms. A Montessori classroom invites children to move around the classroom, creating specific challenges to Montessori education. There are many neurodiverse children who attend Geiger who need that extra attention. Now we are approaching the end of the year. I picked my daughter up from school the other day, and she was crying because the assistant in her classroom, Miss Ball, informed the class that she would not be allowed to come back next year, and there will be no one taking her place. For some children, these assistants are their safe adult. I want to thank Mr. Patrick for his work that he has done at Geiger, specifically as a role model for our young boys. I am an active volunteer at Geiger. I have seen wonderful, beautiful academic as well as social emotional learning taking place in the classroom. But if you remove assistance from the Montessori classroom, you're asking for a lawsuit. You are asking Geiger to run as a Montessori school with their hands tied behind their back. You are placing parents who purchased a home to send their children to Montessori school in a hard position. We are that family. We're not alone. I'm considering homeschooling as an option to keep my kids safe. Community will lose a nurse.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Our next two speakers are Zelda Tosher, followed by Holly Freeman.
Hello, my name is Zelda Tosher. I'm an 8th grader at Gray Middle School. I am frustrated with how this school board and district is handling budget cuts. In the past 3 years, 7 people working outside of our schools have gotten over $40,000 raises each. These were given knowing our financial state. My CTE teacher is one of many amazing staff in the district who are not getting contracts next year. My CTE teacher has been one of the few adults to make me feel safe in this district, and she has done in half a year what you failed to do in 4. My librarian is one of many staff being displaced. She has given many students a safe place where we can talk and be ourselves. So with everything these staff members have done for the students and continue to do, why does it feel like you are paying more attention to your salaries than you do to the impact this is having and will continue to have on the students and staff that you claim to care so much about? Thank you.
Our next speaker is Holly Freeman, followed by Christy Jett.
Hi, my name's Holly Freeman. I am a first-year teacher to Tacoma. I moved from Colorado to Tacoma to take a job and found out I wasn't going to get a job back. I'm not here to complain about that, but I just want to give perspective. I actually am here to advocate for the students that I do teach that are at Roosevelt Elementary School and Edison Elementary School. They're not going to have as many parents or supporters coming and saying how important the ESPs are to the classroom. Without ESPs, we're actually going to just increase generational poverty. I see it in the schools that I'm working at, and it is extremely sad to see that. I just hope that there's some way that you know, those positions can somehow be saved, because they're super vital to the classroom. Teachers are not just important for kids who are struggling with special needs, but for the entire classroom. As some of the kids have said, when a kid disrupts the classroom, now the whole class is not learning any longer. And then I also want to say I do support the bell-to-bell cell phone ban. I feel like that's a no-brainer. We should be doing that. It's not a vital thing for us to have cell phones in the classrooms. The kids don't need it. They can keep them in their backpack. Please consider doing that. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Christy Jett, followed by Jennifer Arnold.
Good evening. My name is Christy Jett.
I am here tonight as a parent who is deeply worried, not just about what our children are doing on their phones, but about what they're missing because of them. They're missing the joy of riding bikes with friends. They're missing the quiet delight of lying in the grass, watching clouds drift by, letting their minds wander. They're missing the rare and precious gift of boredom, the kind that sparks creativity, builds resilience, and gives birth to imagination. These moments, these ordinary, beautiful moments, are what childhood is made of, and they're slipping away. These devices are stealing childhood from our kids, and while it may feel like we're powerless, we are not. Now that we know better, now that the evidence is clear, we must do better. Let's be honest, these devices are not benign. They are engineered to be addictive, to hijack attention, and to expose our children to content they are not developmentally ready for, and they rob them of real connection. We didn't fully understand the risks before, but now we do. And we know that behind every swipe is a system built to exploit our children for profit and not for their well-being. A phone-free bell-to-bell policy is not about punishment, it's about protection, it's about reclaiming childhood, it's about giving our kids 6 sacred hours to be present, to connect, to learn, and to just be kids. And for some, those 6 hours may be the only time that they're not staring at a screen. Let's give our teachers the freedom to teach, not be phone police. Let's give our children the gift of presence, of wonder, of human connection. I urge you to support a phone-free policy across the district. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jennifer Arnold, followed by Soraya Ali.
Thank you, board members, and thank you to everyone in this room for all the work you do to support our students and the future of our community. I'm the parent of a student currently enjoying Wainwright, soon to start Hunt next year. I'm here to ask you to pass a phone-free, bell-to-bell policy, keeping all our Tacoma schools phone-free during the school day, including lunch and breaks. Super important, as other folks have said, to limit smartphones during those lunch and breaks so that students can build social skills and those in-person relationships and not be default to glued to their screens. Exceptions would be for emergencies, medical reasons, other specific needs identified by school counselors and teachers. Our daughter does not have a smartphone, and we've worked to limit social media, but it becomes increasingly difficult when students in the schools are using their phones. We don't want her to be socially isolated or feel left out at school, and it is especially scary when many students don't have parental controls, or very few. Investigative reporting, such as the documentary Can't Look Away, shows how tech companies know which features enable extreme bullying and patterns of teen suicide, yet companies continue using those features because they are profitable. Some people say it is up to individual families to teach their children responsible media use, but I feel like we have to acknowledge as a community that these companies are focusing their top talent and business strategies to hold our kids' attention. Some teens we know in Tacoma have said they are on their screens an average of 15 or 16 hours. So please, for this next school year, pass a phone-free bell-to-bell policy. Thank you.
All right, after Soraya Ali, we have Katie Edwards.
Hi, my name is Soraya Abdurrahman Ali. I'm currently attending Tacoma School of the Arts, where I major in dance, and I'm heading into my senior year. I have had plenty of opportunities from Jobs 253, Metro Parks, and Elementary of Education to grow. I first started my first volunteer program through being a zoo guide in the summer of 2023, then being a senior guide through the summer of 2024. That was the first opportunity I've ever had. When I first joined Club Beyond and Beyond the Bell, I had just turned 16. I joined back in December of 2023. The first time I led the club I was really nervous and scared. I had the wonderful chance to lead clubs at over 7 different schools. Being able to mentor, teach, help students grow, and educate children has been a gifted opportunity for me. I want to pursue a career with pediatric surgery. Working and helping kids and young adults is a very meaningful thing of mine. Metro Parks opportunity has also led me to jobs and employment. Without my time with Metro Parks, I wouldn't be able to have the excellent leadership skills, communication, time management, sympathy, and empathy, and other skills that come with it. On a last note, I'm very thankful for Metro Parks, Jobs 253, and Elements of Education for getting me more involved in the community. I have been able to use my voice sorry, I have been able to use my voice more with situations going around us. For example, ICE and what they're doing is illegal and not constitutional because they are ripping innocent people away from their families and abusing them. The genocide happening in Palestine, Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, Haiti, and other countries facing genocide. Budget cuts in which teachers at my school have been affected by, and women's rights. Since I'm involved with working with children, other children have been affected by these things, and it's my right to help them and have a voice because they can't. Please do your job protecting your students from these things. It affects your community and children. I help educate and teach. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Katie Edwards, followed by Kat Russell.
Hi, my name's Katie, and I have one daughter who's 4.5 and one on the way. We recently moved to Tacoma specifically so we could choice enroll our daughter Ocean into Geiger Montessori Elementary School. With the recent budget cuts, they are no longer able to let anyone choice into this school, and this school went from allowing 54-year-olds to now only having room for 20. With these budget cuts, we are forced to enroll my daughter in a school that feels unsafe and where her education is not a top priority. I feel she will fall through the cracks without a one-to-one education style that Montessori schools offer. We have structure in our home that follows the Montessori style, and I fear she won't be able to learn at the pace she is used to while attending a regular public school, where every kid is taught in the same education level and teachers are often overwhelmed with 30 or more kids in a classroom with no other help. Montessori education isn't just a preference for our family, it's a necessity for our daughter's growth, confidence, and success. She thrives in an environment where she is seen as an individual, not just another student in an overcrowded classroom. I urge you to consider the long-term impact that these budget cuts will have, not just on my family, but many families who have made major life decisions like moving across cities and states just to give their children a chance at this kind of education. We're not asking for special treatment, we're asking for continued access to a proven learning environment that supports the whole child emotionally, academically, and socially. Please find a way to preserve and prioritize funding for Geiger. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kat Russell, followed by Jennifer Boutel.
Hello, good evening. I've been in the other room. My name is Kat Russell. I am the Booster Club president of Blix Elementary on the east side. I'm not here about Montessori. I'm not here about cell phone bans. I'm here for one man. I am here to advocate to keep Darius Menza in our school. Dr. Menza has come. He's been an incredible force in our school. We've been through a lot. He has come up with all kinds of strategies to keep kids in school instead of disciplinary issues that kids are usually sent out of school. And it is my understanding that he is being sent to another school and that we have missed the mark by a few students. And I'd like to advocate and see if maybe those numbers aren't quite right, because what I heard was we needed 425, I think, and I believe we are projected for 434. So I want to make sure that you're not taking him and then, oops, we're wrong, here's somebody else, when he's already been established in our community. And it is amazing to see a educated black man in a low-income situation and have him be just amazing and kind and strong. And yeah, go Menza!
Our next speaker is Jennifer Boutel, followed by Tori Laird.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Boutel, and I currently teach at Foss High School as a CTE teacher, and I'm also the TEA secretary, and I served on the bargaining team for our recent bargain. Today has been a really hard day for me for a lot of reasons. But before I get into the part that's all about me, I wanted to talk about my colleague, Megan, who has worked at Gray Middle School for the last 2 years. When I first met Megan, she worked with me at Giadroni. She was hired to teach the agriculture program there. She was a new teacher and new to the district, and she was directed to write a year's worth of IB units, and many things were purchased for that program. In the spring, she was displaced to Gray Middle actually, she was told she'd be displaced to Hunt for agriculture, but they actually placed her at Gray Middle School. And then they told her that she would be teaching STEM. And then they told her, oh, you might also be teaching culinary at some point, but we don't really know. That year, I was also moved to Foss High School, and I was told my program was moved. My program was somehow moved from middle school to high school and changed from computer science to business. Today, I found out I was displaced back to middle school to teach I don't know what. Since I am a human and not a number, I'm having a very hard time with today, and I'm gonna have a very hard time with tomorrow when I am supposed to encourage people to vote for ratification of the contract. Thank you.
We have Tori Laird, followed by Poppy Oman.
Hi Board, Superintendent. My name is Tori Laird and I'm a parent at Geiger Montessori and I'm here in support of our ESPs. My daughter is neurodivergent. Before we got a diagnosis last year, she was extremely dysregulated all the time and had behavioral issues that caused class disruption. She needed a lot of help from the grown-ups at Geiger. Our family is incredibly grateful to the ESPs that surrounded her with love, understanding, and lessons in self-regulation. Miss Rosenkrantz, her classroom ESP, and Mr. Patrick, the building SP, were vital to her preserving her self-esteem, her love for school, and her safety during this time. Thanks to these two ESPs who have been cut, today she is a class leader and a responsible community member. The commitment the district has made to providing public Montessori is vital to children like my daughter, and it is specifically because of classroom ESPs that Montessori model is able to work. I'm making a plea for you to reconsider the cuts that have been made to the ESP team members. They will directly affect our students that are having the hardest time on their worst days. I love this district and I'm proud to call Tacoma home, and we need to invest in our students now more than ever. Thank you.
Next, we've got Poppy Oman, followed by Alicia, I think, Rodenbach.
I was going to introduce Poppy. Poppy started at Geiger Montessori as just days over 3 years old. We moved from the Virgin Islands, where we started in a Montessori method, and we moved to Tacoma specifically for Geiger, and she has been at Geiger until now. And she's, how old are you? 9.
My name is Poppy. I'm in the 3rd grade at Geiger Montessori, and I'm a student in Mrs. Wally's class. I want to talk to you about some important things of cutting Montessori assistance. Here are some reasons why it's not a good idea. First, who will watch us outreach us? You might think that it's a teacher can do it, but it's not. That's the time that she needs to plan and work. Can you please consider giving us more money instead? Let's be real and fair to our community. Montessori students deserve the time to support as other schools. But if you really have to make cuts, maybe think about things that don't take away from our classroom, like less expensive playground equipment, cheaper breakfasts, fewer after-school activities. I'm sure you can find things that don't take away our assistance. Because when you took away our paras, you didn't just take away people. You took away pieces of our classrooms. You took up pieces of our heart.
Our next speaker is Alicia Rodenbach, followed by Rhett Johnson, and finally Christina Johnson.
Mr. Board President, members of the board, Superintendent Garcia, and members of the cabinet. My name is Alicia Rodenbach. I'm a mother of a 5-year-old boy who attends Geiger Montessori. And I'm here to speak in support of keeping our education support professionals, or ESP, employed at Geiger. ESPs have been a saving grace for my son. They make him feel like he belongs by providing a welcoming environment to the classroom and the school. My son's ESP, Miss Eve, has been particularly caring and has been sensitive to his needs in helping him work on social emotional regulation, making sure he eats lunch so he can function during the day, and has been an open line of communication with me and how she and the teacher can ensure that my son is successful. The ESPs are critical to the Montessori structure, and they offer stability in the classroom. Their service to our children extends beyond the classroom, like on the playground, helping students and parents cross the street in the morning and after school, having a presence in the building, and even assisting with school drop-off. My son at times has anxiety about getting out of the car and walking through the gate, but one ESP in particular, Mr. Patrick, is always there to greet him and make sure that he is comfortable walking in the school. And I strongly believe that when he sees him there is a level of trust that pushes him to go through the gates and off to class. Cutting the crucial roles that the ESPs plays does a disservice to our children's education. Classroom sizes are generally 20+ students, and having an ESP that is hands-on and attentive to our children's needs sets them up for success, especially if they are struggling academically. They're the backbone to our community as they make sure our children feel seen, heard, and supported, and it would be a tragedy to lose them. Thank you.
All right, our final two speakers this evening are Rhett Johnson and Christina Johnson.
My son tends to have a lot of issues when it comes to starting his school, and he wanted to express to you the 3 of the ones that you guys are cutting are his safe people, and it's the only reason he's been able to walk through the gates to go to class. He's scared for next year and what that's going to look like. I think that's all he wanted to say is please don't take his Miss Bach and his counselor. I'm Christina Johnson, and I just want to say that we were part of the peer inclusion program, and never once did we ever regret being part of that. It was integral to my children in terms of their growth. They've developed friendships and connections there with neurodiverse groups and other individuals, and it's been a blessing, and I'm sad to see it go. I'm nervous. This is sad. I'm scared for next year and what this is going to look like because all of his safe people are gone. So please reconsider. I don't know what you guys can do differently because I don't know what your budget looks like, but as a parent, I'm afraid. So, thank you.
All right, that concludes the verbal public comment for this evening. Thank you to everybody who worked so hard to keep your comments within the time. It allowed everybody to get their comments heard on the record. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Moving to the consent agenda.
I move to adopt the consent agenda.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns about the consent agenda as presented? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. Next up, policy matters. We have the first reading of policy 3207, prohibition of harassment, intimidation, and bullying.
Yeah, let me just do a quick check in the room. We've got Tiffany Davis Brantley coming up. Tiffany is our civil rights coordinator for the district. She'll be presenting you these 4.
Sure.
Good evening. The Civil Rights Coordinator recommends the Board of Directors review the drafts of revised policies 3207, 3210, 3215, and 5266. As you see, there are 4 policy updates before you today for consideration. They are closely related, and so we bring them together. The revisions are designed to ensure that we remain in full compliance with civil rights regulations, and one regulation updated just as recently as a few weeks ago. The proposed updates are more than technical adjustments. They reflect a clear commitment to equity, transparency, and accountability in how we serve our staff and students. They ensure alignment with current civil rights standards, strengthen protections for staff and students, and provide clear definitions and guidance. As this is a first reading, there is no vote expected today, but we would like to get your feedback before a second reading.
Thank you. Anybody got questions about this? All right.
Okay. She did it so efficiently. I think we can go right to agenda item 7.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Which is the financial report.
Or 8. Yeah.
The district's next monthly financial report will be presented in July. Monthly financial statements can be found on the district website at tacomaschools.org/departments/business and finance. Next up, curriculum instruction. We have no agenda items tonight. And now we're on to business matters. Agenda item number A, or letter A, approval of contract number TSD-20-140, Amendment number 2 between Synchronous Deployment and Legacy Services and Tacoma Public Schools from September 1st, 2025 through August 31st, 2026.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Chief Technology Officer, recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD 20140, Amendment number 2 between Synchronous Deployment and Legacy Services and Tacoma Public Schools in the amount of $739,832.92 from September 1, 2025 to August 31, 2026. Funding source, Technology Levy Fund.
I move agenda item A.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns?
Mr. President,
Yep.
in each of the following agenda items, you're going to see different funding sources, and I would just want to refer back to Kari's presentation of the 6 different buckets. So oftentimes we get feedback of saying, well, can you use these dollars, or questions, can you use these dollars for these purposes? And so when Kari says, capital dollars can't be used for different things other than capital. And so that's where there are legal limitations, right? So we can use technology dollars for items that are related to technology services. So sometimes we can use technology dollars to support staff that are supporting specific technology initiatives for short periods of time. But I can't use technology dollars for just anything. And so as we approve these items, I just want to remind folks in the public, it's not because we have an option to necessarily shore up a different set of general funds in these items. And so we're not, and especially when we get down into the big capital items as well.
Appreciate that clarification. It's been moved and seconded. Anybody else have any questions or comments about it? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Agenda item B, approval of contract number TSD-25-116 between Zayo and Tacoma School District number 10 from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Chief Technology Officer, recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD 25-116 between Zayo and Tacoma School District number 10 for telecommunications services to support school and administrative offices from July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2028 in the amount of $235,052. Funding source, Technology General Fund.
I move item B, 7B,
10B.
10B, whatever it is.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns about this one? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Letter C, approval of contract number TSD 25-100 between America's Automotive Trust and Tacoma School District number 10 from May 15th, 2025 through January 7th, 2026.
The Chief Operating Officer, on behalf of the Executive Director of Planning and Construction, recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD 25100 between America's Automotive Trust and Tacoma School District number 10 for the initial planning and design phase of the Regional Robotics Center from May 15th, 2025 to January 7th, 2026.
I move agenda item 10C.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none.
Just enthusiastic support.
Enthusiastic support. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Next up, we have approval of contract number TSD 24058, amendments number 2 and 3 between the Port of Tacoma and Tacoma School District number 10 from June 7, 2024 through June 6, 2074.
The Chief Operating Officer, on behalf of the Executive Director of Planning and Construction, recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD 24058, amendments number 2 and 3 for the Maritime 253 South Puget Sound Maritime Skills Center for joint use agreement between the Port of Tacoma and Tacoma School District number 10, in the amount of $5,500,000 from June 7th, 2024 to June 6, 2074.
Josh, do you have any
I'm-
comment
I'm-
on that 50 years?
The money is appropriated for the land lease agreement. That's why you see the 2074.
It's a 50-year lease.
I figured. I just thought someone should really comment on that,
Yeah,
because hearing
it's-
2074
Yeah,
is...
it's, at first we all glanced and like, that must be a typo, but it is a long-term commitment for a long-term lease.
I move item X, C, D?
10D.
D, 10D.
I second 10D.
God, it's just,
Been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns? Other questions, comments, concerns?
Sorry.
You good? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. We'll move forward to 10E. Approval to negotiate and award the design build alternative method contract with Corsmo Construction and Tacoma School District Number 10.
We have 16 sites that will get upgrades under this bundle. The Chief Operating Officer, on behalf of the Executive Director of Planning and Construction, recommends that the Board of Directors approve to negotiate and award a contract to Corsmo Construction Company for the synthetic fields, track, and tennis court upgrades, bundle number 2, project in the amount of $45 million.
I move item number 10E.
second.
It's been moved and second. Questions, comments, concerns about this one? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Agenda item 10F, approval of joint use agreement between the City of Tacoma and Tacoma School District Number 10 to construct and maintain a multi-use playfield at Burney Elementary.
The Chief Operating Officer recommends that the Board of Directors approve the joint use agreement between the City of Tacoma and Tacoma School District Number 10 to construct and maintain a multi-use playfield at Burney Elementary School.
I move item 10F.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns about this one at Burney?
I just want to thank the City of Tacoma. This is a great opportunity for the south side and right on Burney. So right as you look at the front of the school, right off, and if you're facing Burney, right off to the right-hand side, there's that grass field, and it's the city's property. And it's taken us a long time. And as you know, as the weather, that field turns into muck, right? And so the city is allowing us to develop that. And that'll be a great enhancement in there. So we will be able to turn that into a multi-use field. And so I'm extremely excited into that opportunity. And that's a great partnership with the City of Tacoma. So big shout out to the City of Tacoma for allowing us to develop that.
I'll second that. Any other? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Other business. Ratification of the 2025 through 2028 collective bargaining agreement between Tacoma School District Number 10 and the membership of the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 302 custodians.
The Director of Labor Relations, on behalf of the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, recommends that the Board of Directors ratify the collective bargaining agreement between Tacoma School District Number 10 and the membership of the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 302 custodians.
I move item 11A.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Historically, we've done a roll call vote.
It's a
please.
roll call.
Oh, yeah. All right, well,
So let's
do
visit
it.
that. So President Schroeder, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice President McCover, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Brombright, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Leon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, the 2025-2028 CBA between IOUE and TPS is ratified.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Moving on, closing items, board comments and reports. Anybody want to start?
I'd like to apologize for my tardiness. I want to thank everyone for your patience and waiting on me. If you were waiting to see me, I apologize. On tonight was the Miss Juneteenth pageant and scholarship, and I was asked to lend my voice, and I was waiting for a student to get picked up, and what turned into a 5-minute wait turned to a 30-minute wait, and that's what we do. We show up for kids, and you wait sometimes. I think that in community right now, there's a lot of questions, concerns. There's things outside of our control as school board members. There's things within our control. I think that as we really recognize that school is over in 5 days for the school year, I really want to turn the attention onto the community. What are our next steps? Where are our safe places? What are our safe activities? As parents, we can do our part. As community, we can do our part as well. There's so many programs that are going on besides our Teen Summer Late Night. There's programs at the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA. There's programs at Peace Community Center. There are so many programs, Metro Parks, or Parks Tacoma now. Look into safe places for your kiddos to be. if you don't have AC, reach out to the city. It's going to be a hot one. There's things that I think we should keep our focus on. And then personally, I'm just going to say, like, be somebody's safety plan. Care for other people. The amount of phone calls I've received in the last month saying, can I list you as a safety person for my child? If my child goes missing this summer, can I call you? Will you support me? Will you help me? My answer is always yes. And that was kind of what held me up from walking into this room today. I was standing in the hallway listening to all the testimony. I didn't want to interrupt that and become a distraction to it, because I understand that voices need to be heard and respected. Lastly, a personal story. When my youngest was in 7th grade, the summer before 7th grade, I decided that her phone was a problem. I did not buy her phone. I'm a former foster parent, and I decided that we would focus on experiences, and I cut off her phone for 10 hours a day, and she only had it for 1 hour a day before bed. And that summer, she hated me a lot, but I recognized that it was my responsibility to manage the things that happen in my household. I understand that it's my responsibility to teach her my expectations and then tell her what those are at school. And I also understand that there's a large swath of community that may not have those same expectations. But I have to teach her to hold her head high and to walk with integrity and the lessons that we taught at home. I never want to put myself in a place where I'm telling any parent how to parent, especially being a foster parent. We're not biological. Do our voices matter in this conversation? Should we lift up and raise issues and say, even though this isn't my child, this is the ward of mine, and I'd love to get them on the right path? So how do I intervene? It's by being intentional and showing up. I hope that we all can continue to show up for each other as we recognize that school is closing in 5 days. And then the focus turns to community. That's where I was all day today. That's where I'll be all summer. So I want to thank y'all, and again, I apologize for my absence and my tardiness.
I'll go next. Well, let's see, just a couple of things that have happened since the last board meeting. The Tacoma Education Dream Fund, which is our very own Tacoma Public Schools Foundation, which has been newly launched. I attended a CEO luncheon with the superintendent and I don't know, 10 or 11 CEOs from around Tacoma, and it was very powerful to hear, for them to hear kind of what's working at our schools and where we have gaps, where we have funding gaps and can't fill them, and so these CEOs I think are going to help reach out and help us raise awareness and also resources for Tacoma Public Schools to fill in those gaps. So that's great. And these gaps aren't going to be, unfortunately, things like, paying someone's salary. It'll be more of the supports around that, which certainly currently staff is paying for a lot of it themselves anyway, so that'll be helpful. The other thing that several of us went to, at least the three of us did, was the retirement party for so many, I think it was 25 or so, retirees who have spent many, many years, some a few and some a lot, here at Tacoma Public Schools, teaching our students and being part of their lives and being their support in person. And so I wanted to, again, congratulate all those that are retiring and thank them for their service and their long and patient years with us. And then again, many of us were at the TPS night at the Rainiers, which was really fun. We got to go, the First Creek drum team led us out onto the field, and it never stopped. The line, it was like this massive, we took up the entire field of TPS families, and it was great, students and staff and families. It was great. That night was super. So thanks to all those who made that happen. I appreciate it a lot. And then had another unusual but again enlightening event this week. On Monday night, Pat Irwin and I went to a dinner with Jean-Paul Dermot, who's the mayor of Biot, France, which is a sister city to us and to Tacoma. And Biot is also a glass blowing city. It's a glass manufacturing city. And so there's a bond here, and Hilltop artists, glass artists have gone there and taught, and their kids have come here and taught, and there's been a lot of exchange for schools. I think it's Hilltop Heritage has been one of the schools that has done a lot of trading back and forth. We also, I ate dinner with a teacher who teaches at Mason Middle School. She's a French teacher, and she has also done, her class has an exchange with students in Biot, and they write, I think 6 times a year. They send each other, one sends a letter and then they get them back. And it's this educational exchange that is so fantastic. And this is the kinds of things that really change how our students see the world. So I want to thank all those involved for all that great work. And with the event was hosted by Catherine Sarnot. So she was in her beautiful home here in Tacoma. So that was a lovely evening. So just wanted to share that and tell everyone thank you for helping. I heard someone talk about dual language and how important seeing the world in other people's eyes in different cultures is so critically important for our students. So thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. Director Keating and/or Director Leon.
Go ahead, Director Leon.
All of the board I know, and all levels of administration see all the staff that work for Tacoma schools as people. So I know that it can feel like we've heard a lot from a lot of folks that you feel like numbers. Trust me, I don't think anybody's a number. I don't think anybody here thinks you're a number. Sometimes budgets are referred to in percentages and in numbers. That is a way that society and organizations and businesses refer to things. So your hard work, your dedication has been important to my children's lives here, and to all the communities, all my patients' lives. And our board scrutinizes a lot of the decisions. We're not part of every decision that is made. We know, and we're not supposed to be. But we do influence and try to lend our voice and our opinion and our principles in a way that respects our children, respects all of you. And we know that it's not perfect. There are shortfalls that are outside of our control with the way the world is functioning right now and this country is functioning. So, but we're the ones in front of you, so we're here to listen and take whatever concerns you have to come our way. There is still a lot of violence in our community. There was a large shooting that occurred at American Lake last week, and many of our students were involved, along with students from other school districts in this area. People were hurt. No one died. As of now, I don't think. There's not a lot of public knowledge out here. But I just, we want to not keep reminding folks to try to talk to all those people you know, your family, your trusted adults to a lot of people. You've prevented a lot of problems, all the folks out there in our community, but problems still occur. We need more help with de-escalation. We need more support with conflict resolution. There are organizations that we are reaching out to help us with that. We have that within our own organization. South King County has an organization that we're hoping to partner with that are experts in that field. Again, this is a time to celebrate graduations and promotions and moving to the next grades and all these things that are wonderful in the young people's lives. But there's also lots of folks out there sometimes making bad decisions, sometimes on their own accord, sometimes forced into things. So I think most of the proms are done now. They should be done. There was one last week. So I'm sure not everything went perfectly well at all of them, but I did not hear of any horrible events, at least at the proms that we had in our schools. I just hope that people could celebrate that and celebrate this coming next week and the graduations that are going to be wonderful to see. our school district had a lot of families affected by immigration, taking parents away from their kids this past few days, and our district helped reunite a lot of families. I want to thank all the staff that helped make that happen. That shouldn't be part of what a school district does, but this is how we serve and help keep our kids safe. And there were a lot of folks that were heroes in doing that work, and will continue to do that work and have to do that work, unfortunately, in the future. So I want to thank everyone for doing that important work. You know, there are, I appreciate all the speakers that came today to give us your thoughts, and the kids who couldn't talk and read their messages. It means a lot to us to hear from all of you. You know, we've heard that some people have made decisions around how to manage this issue around the addiction to social media. In cell phones are not the problem. It's the social media that's connected to that causes a 400% higher rate of anxiety and depression in girls and 200% higher in boys. And that is something that is not for the school district to solve every issue in society. We need all of society to come together, from families first, and then partner with every other organization. So the health department, parks, the city, this has to be something that's worldwide. The social media companies don't want to make those changes, so we have to help keep our kids safe. The frontal cortex of the brain is not fully mature until people are adults, and that can happen between, some are lucky to get it at 16 and some not until you're 24. And the addiction and the mental health problems that happen in your brain from lots of things, this one I'm talking about right now is the social media in your phone, is very serious. So with 6 hours of peace that can come to those kids with a cell phone free environment would be, I think, a very positive thing for education, academics, and we've heard from many folks today. And that was a grassroots effort. I applaud those people that have been thinking about this. The board has been talking about this, and we've not made a decision, but as you can tell, I'm an advocate for this. So I just want safety and health for all of our community. So I appreciate everyone being here and coming to speak today.
In Chelsea fashion, I forgot something. This past week, we had Willie Stewart's graduation, and I will tell you, I was crying on stage. I was trying my best not to cry, but it's really beautiful to see those children and families be served in that way and talk about their experiences. Principal Abby Sloan got her honorary high school diploma. I'm sorry, that was so touching. She cried, I cried, we cried a lot. But I will say it was a very beautiful moment as you talk about the joys too. This is a happy time of the year too, and I need to focus on that more. So thank you for that.
And I forgot one thing.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'll finish off on some good things too here. So I was just at the Stadium Awards ceremony. I want to thank all the staff and families, everyone who put that on, but also there were a lot of community members, organizations, the College Success Foundation, I'm going to forget some groups, the Rotaries, the Daffodil Parade organization group that I'm blanking on what the real name is, lots of scholarships to kids. I know other schools have similar things going on with scholarships. This means a lot to these folks to be recognized, and it helps them financially make the next step to whatever they're going to do. It can be trade, a job, and the colleges if that's what they decide to do. It was a beautiful event to see, and I've been to other events similar at the other high schools, so I want to just thank all the community for helping provide scholarships to these students. And I'll be at Oakland and Stadium graduations on Tuesday, so I hope to see many of you there.
So thinking about, I'll start with something happy. This is one of the years I taught enrichment programming for a really long time, and I'm getting a slew of graduation announcements and kids that I've worked with since they were in kindergarten are walking across the stage next week. And it's pretty special to see that come to fruition and have it been a small part of their story. It's pretty meaningful. So, and some of the kids, I'll actually get a chance to give them their diploma personally. So there'll be tears, 100%. And I want to just surface something that I'm a little worried that there is the perception that our schools aren't doing anything about cell phones. And so there's, there's been conversations among board members about, some people are calling it a ban, some people are calling it bell to bell. But I also think it's really important to just identify that our schools, each of our schools they have been implementing plans to address that. So a board policy would be on top of what's already happening in our schools. So I just think I don't want that misunderstanding to be out there. And, as a parent of a kid who did use her cell phone in school, she lost her data. She lost access to her data when she wasn't acting right and she was using her phone too much. And so part of that responsibility is on families. And I think that is somewhat lost in the conversation. And I just know that year after year, and especially after COVID, that public education is being required, asked, sometimes demanded to solve more and more societal issues. And so I think that it's really important to surface that it's complicated. And that, that our staff are working with our students. Is it consistent and the same from school to school? No, but nothing is consistent and the same from school to school because every school has its own unique makeup. So I think I just want to assure that those that are listening that it isn't as if nothing is being done. And I just worry that with the narrative that is being created that there is that assumption. So I just want to identify that. Today is, we had acknowledged Pride earlier in the meeting. Today is the 9th anniversary of the Pulse massacre shooting. And I didn't realize that until sitting down, and I happened to have been in a queer club on a dance floor here or in this area when that shooting took place. And there would have been no escape had it happened in the place that my friends and I were in. And a couple weekends ago, there was a really violent escalation of police brutality towards queer counter-protesters in Cal Anderson Park in Seattle. They were very much targeted. There is a significant amount of rhetoric and violent rhetoric around trans people, trans youth. A student who defended her state championship in track from the other side of the mountains was horribly harassed by other student peers and adults at the state championship at Mount Tahoma. That is not at all a reflection on Mount Tahoma, but because she's trans, people treated her horrifically. And she's a student. So as I think about Pride, and as someone who walks through the world, having to think about the multiple identities within myself, my own family, and my family of choice, and in my career, it's a really frightening time for a lot of people, and Pride was an act of resistance, it was a riot. It was a resistance to the criminalization and the policing of queer people, and specifically Black and brown trans people. And what started over 5 decades ago, we're still facing very similar levels of violence and persecution. And I hope there are pride festivals happening every weekend. They're happening all over the state tomorrow, or on Saturday. There are going to be other protests. I very much worry about people's safety. So if you're someone that is either participating in a protest or a pride event, have a safety plan. Make sure that you have an exit strategy. Make sure that however you engage, that you have a safe person that's outside of whatever event you're in. Bring a backup battery for your cell phone. There's a lot of entitled aggression. And I just very much worry about our community. And I hope, and as school gets out, it makes me really worried about when people have free time, bad things can happen. So I really hope that if you are an adult that has the ability to provide safe space, shelter, support to young people in our community, please do so, because we're in a really intense confrontational time at a lot of levels in our country right now and in our community. So I hope people stay safe, particularly this weekend, and find a way to hold your head up high. If you are part of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, you belong, you matter, and you're not alone.
Thank you. Thank you all for your comments this evening. Announcements of next regular board meeting, June 26, 2025. There will be a business meeting at 6 p.m. Public hearing for the 2025-2026 proposed budget will tentatively be held at this meeting. July 10th, 2025, 6 p.m. There will be a business meeting. Adoption of the proposed 2025-2026 budget will be tentatively held at this meeting. August 28th, 2025, 6 p.m., regular business meeting. That's our next 3 board meetings here. With that, we are adjourned. Thanks.